I'm laughing because this is one of about 10 stories that I know you've covered where the government shows preference to people who have shown absolute contempt for our customs, our laws, our system itself, and they're being treated better than American citizens. Now, I know that the left and all the little gatekeepers on Twitter become literally hysterical if you use the term replacement, if you suggest that the Democratic Party is trying to replace the current electorate, the voters now casting ballots, with new people, more obedient voters from the third world. But they become hysterical because that's what's happening, actually. Let's just say it, that's true. If this was happening in your house, if you were in 6th grade, for example, and without telling you, your parents adopted a bunch of new siblings and gave them brand new bikes and let them stay up later and help them with their homework and gave them twice the allowance that they gave you, you would say to your siblings, I think we're being replaced by kids that our parents love more. And it would be kind of hard to argue against you because look at the evidence. So this matters on a bunch of different levels, but on the most basic level, it's a voting rights question. In a democracy, one person equals one vote. If you change the population, you dilute the political power of the people who live there. So every time they import a new voter, I become disenfranchised as a current voter. So I don't understand why we don't understand this. I mean, everyone wants to make a racial issue out of it. Ooh, the white replacement theory. No. This is a voting rights question. I have less political power because they're importing a brand new electorate. Why should I sit back and take that? The power that I have as an American guaranteed at birth is one man, one vote, and they're diluting it. No, they're not allowed to do that. Why are we putting up with this?
You penned a letter to Fox News Media CEO Suzanne Scott on Friday saying Carlson's been race baiting for years and it's time for him to go. Have you heard back from Fox yet? What has Fox said back to you since Friday?
Well, look, it's Sunday morning. We were closed yesterday for Shabbat, and we sent this out Friday afternoon. So we haven't heard anything yet. But I'll tell you why, if we step back, this is so problematic. And as you pointed out, Tucker Carlson has a history of sanitizing stereotypes and of spreading this kind of poison. But what he did on Thursday night really was, indeed, as you put it, a new low. The great replacement theory, as it's known, is this toxic idea that there are a cabal of Jews plotting to overrun the country with immigrants, Muslims, black people, etc., and commit what they call white genocide. It is literally, Brian, a staple of white supremacist and extremist ideology. And so when Tucker Carlson literally introduces it to his 4.5 million viewers, he's serving as a gateway to one of the most damaging and dangerous conspiracy theories out there. And when I say that, again, let me be clear, this has real consequences. From 2017, the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, where this phrase was invoked, remember, Jews will not replace us, and then Heather Heyer was mowed down and murdered, to the shooting at the Pittsburgh synagogue in 2018, where 11 worshipers were killed, to the shooting the following year in Christchurch, where 51 people were killed, Muslim worshipers, to the murders in El Paso, where 20 some odd Latino people were killed. Again and again and again, it is the replacement theory that's been invoked by these extremist murderers. So when Tucker Carlson invokes it on his show, when he dismisses it, right, it is so dangerous. And I think, as you pointed out, the question is really from Fox management to the Fox board to Fox shareholders. How can they countenance their network being used to mainstream the most violent and toxic ideas?
As you say, there is a long history of Carlson's racist comments. I was about to say racially charged, but there's no reason to beat around these bushes. No, let's put up a scroll of some examples from the past. Remember, his top writer resigned last year after secretly posting racist and sexist remarks in an online forum. So there's some other examples on screen here. I put these up to make the point that Fox has promoted him. They've elevated him. He's the biggest star on the channel, the highest rated host. So what do you actually expect Fox to do?
Well, look, Father Coughlin got great ratings in the 1930s with anti-Semitic and racist rants until he was taken down. right? And, people like Lou Dobbs on the Fox network or Glenn Beck before him got great ratings with their wild, racist, and ugly conspiracy theories. So what do we want Fox to do? I mean, first and foremost, Tucker has got to go. Again, I think it is a risk, not just to the corporation, it's a risk to our society to be promoting these anti-Semitic and racist myths that literally were used by people on January the 6th to try to not just interfere with the election, but to murder lawmakers. I mean, I think we've really crossed a new threshold when a major news network dismisses this or pretends like it isn't important. This has deadly significance. So number one, Tucker has got to go. And then I think secondly, Brian, Fox needs to look at their entire primetime lineup and finally ask themselves, does this work? Because at the end of the day, let's acknowledge Fox isn't alone in this. They have advertisers. They have affiliates. Right? There are cable companies who carry their signal. If Fox won't act, it may be time for the advertisers to act. It may be time for, again, the affiliates and the cable companies to act, to finally, once and for all, say that America is, simply put, no place for hate. Why is this even a debate anymore, Brian?
Tucker just says, I'm talking about voting rights. And then the Murdochs will say, we don't cancel people. They'll say, you're trying to engage in cancel culture. That's what I can actually hear them in my ears, because that's exactly what they would say.
Well, look, this is not cancel culture. Let me be unambiguous about it. There has always been room for fringe ideas in America. That's a function of our First Amendment, and I embrace that. The question is, does Fox should take these fringe ideas and put them where they belong, on the fringe, not place them in prime time where they serve as a gateway drug to tens of millions of Americans, right? To literally conscript them into this conspiracy theory of violent white supremacy. We can't afford to look away any longer, Brian. It's incumbent upon, again, from advertisers to the cable companies to the shareholders to say there is just too much risk in his racism and he's got to go.